Are we live?
We are live.
Okay.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
whoever
Welcome
is
to
watching.
the seventh AMA for Kizuna.
It's 37.
Um, yeah, to all the people watching from all over the world. We're just waiting right now for David to come and join us to host our seventh AMA. But for the meantime, just wanna check in on everyone. How's everyone doing? Please leave a message in the chat.
Is there any message now?
Nope, not yet. Just wait. Yeah.
Let's just wait. Okay. Okay.
How's development been going for you? How have you been feeling with development?
uh, how's development going? It's fine. How it's been fun, exciting. Like even before development of Kizuna, like just seeing how Elemental Chat is doing with their web based version. I think it's really awesome to see that how Holo network is actually working, and um, seeing the progress that they are makes us exciting. Also makes me excited. Excited. Sorry, excited. With regards to the development of Kizuna, this past month have been we've implemented some new features. We can talk about that later for sure. And yeah, a few bug fixes. We've found some interesting bugs, quirky ones that I think really only happens in a distributed network, like which is really interesting, which is an interesting problem to solve on its own because um, so there's a lot of learnings to it, and like it's not easy for sure. Like there are days that you'd feel like it's a problem that is really difficult to fix and what that you have no way out of it, but uh, I guess patience is also really important in a sense because and also the power of community in Holochain is really really something that I'm always amazed at. It's like you really feel like you're not the only um, like team that's working on something. It's like you have this collective um, like mind power and energy and everything, like intention and uh, that is trying to work towards a more and like fair and agent-centric internet. So with that, when we face these kind of bugs and problems, like there's always someone we could talk to, we could ask, and we could brainstorm, and so it's been a huge learning experience so far, and guess we're gonna continue with it, and yeah, so it's been like that. Yeah, it's been fun and exciting, and a learning experience in a sense.
Great to know. Great to know.
Yeah, how's the community? How's the community going? And like I see a lot of engagement in Telegram recently, which is really great.
Yeah, the Kizuna Telegram community has been growing steadily. Of course, with the help of community members. So shout out to all those community members who share about us, who share our posts, and invite other people to come and join us. Also, I think with the recent uploads of the short clips of the second
Mm.
prototype that we made, which we
Right.
uploaded on our YouTube channel, I think those were
Right.
really helpful also. And I just feel this like general sense of excitement from the community, and I think that's really really exciting. And so, yeah. Hi, David.
Hey
Hey,
Welcome.
guys, how you
David.
doing?
Good.
Great. Doing good.
Yeah,
How
excellent.
are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We're live streaming already.
Yes, we are.
Great.
Already.
How
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, we just moved a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm still getting the schedule of kids' holidays as well. So yeah, I'm still getting my head
Mm.
around the schedule and how it all works. But
Right.
yeah, good to be here.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Happy to have you,
You'll get it
David.
for sure. Happy to have you.
Congratulations on moving to a new place.
Yeah,
You just moved to a new place, right?
yeah, exactly. Moved to a new place. Nice setup. Oh,
Nice.
all
Awesome.
right. So you guys have been making small talk. Do you want to jump into the AMA?
Yeah.
For sure. Let's go.
For sure. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
it's
do it.
AMA number 7, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So the
All right.
10th of August, 2021, AMA number 7. Is there going to be what's the approach? Is there going to be a demo today, guys? Just a Q&A? What are you thinking?
We're just looking to make a Q&A for this AMA.
Yep.
We've just recently also uploaded some short clips of the demo 2 weeks ago. So I think we're good on that end. For now, the focus would be more on answering the questions from the community.
Okay, super. All right. Well, we should jump into the first question from Siddhartha then. I would like to know the progress against the project plan and plans for user testing of the app.
Yep. I think I can go on and answer that one. So Akira, can you let me share my screen? Just want to show the roadmap to everybody. As I thank you. So yeah. Um, so here's the roadmap. As you could see, we have a tick right over the second Kizuna prototype with peer-to-peer group messaging and file sharing working. So we were able to implement all the features back in around like mid-July, and so we thought we were already ready to go on to the next step, right? And that is to be able to test Kizuna with hosted agents, and this is where the cooperation of the community members who wishes to test Kizuna out, the the cooperation of the Holo team as well, of course, because we would be needing the ability for a Holochain application to be tested on the hosted network. And third, Holoport owners, of course. We need to have some number of willing Holoport owners to kind of host Kizuna uh, for the kind of like this testing period. Although we have our own Holoports, so who knows, it might be enough, but we don't know yet. But even before getting into that, I just want to kind of like give some context as to better answer this question, right? So the question is really, I'd like to know the progress. So again, we were able to implement them, peer-to-peer messaging, group messaging, file sharing, and most of the time they are working pretty nicely, especially group messaging and file sharing. Although we have encountered an interesting kind of like bug in the peer-to-peer messaging, and we are working to resolve it right now. um, it's not really like a code level bug that we could just like right away and fix it. It's more like an architectural revisit that we need to make, especially with peer-to-peer messaging, because it's going to be a little bit technical. But with peer-to-peer messaging, we are only using the private ledger of the agent, right? So in Holochain, you usually have a public space called the DHT, and you have the private space for your own self, called the source chain. So when Alice and Bob talks to each other over Kizuna, they are not sending the actual message to the public space, the DHT. They are only sending it to one another's private ledger. So what happens there is that if a lot of people start sending message to Alice, then a lot of people will start writing into the private ledger or the source chain of Alice, right? And it can create what we call a concurrent issue, which is multiple people trying to write to the same thing, same ledger at the same time, and it can have scalability issues. And as we were testing Kizuna over the internet, we noticed that when three people, especially two people, are sending message to Alice, as Alice sends message to others, this problem can happen rather rampantly. So we had to revisit the architecture of peer-to-peer messaging, and right now we are doing that. And this is where I think Holochain is really amazing. It's the power of the community and the closeness of each individual projects and the core team. As we kind of laid this problem out, we are actually laying it out right now, and some Holochain community members, some members from the core team are helping us in kind of trying to figure out a best possible way to move forward. So there is that, and we also have implemented a new feature as we wait for the hosted agents scenario to be possible, and that is to be able to pin a message to in any chat, right? So if you deem a message really important, and this is especially, I think, useful in a group setting. Like, for example, you would like for a message to not be forgotten, right? And then you could pin it, and then people could visit that page where every message that is pinned is displayed. So that is already finished. We are just ironing it out to make it as smooth as possible. So really, those two things, especially the bug that I just explained in the peer-to-peer message, is something that we need to fix before we can really try to test Kizuna out with everybody. Although even in that step, of course, we still need to be able to have we need to have the ability to host Kizuna, right? And that needs the cooperation of not just only us, but again, as I said a while ago, different parties. So first of all, um, there's the bug. Second, we need to be able to have that ability to host Kizuna in Holo. So that is something that we are awaiting of as well, of course. And so there's those things that we need to be able to work on first before we can move into the testing of Kizuna with community members. So I hope that is clear. I hope I wasn't really. Uh, I hope that wasn't too verbose in a sense. Yeah, but
Okay,
that's,
Tats, let me just check that I've got it. Okay, so the architecture, you've got an architectural choice and work that needs to be done in how to use a combination of private and group spaces for Kizuna messaging. Is that correct?
Right. So for the group setting, we are using the public space. That is working like phenomenally well. Like we have no problem there. So it's really just the private part of the messaging that we are trying to get better at, in a sense.
Okay, super. That's very clear. Okay, anything to add, Akira, on that one?
No, I perfectly answered that. Can move on.
Okay, super. Okay, so when will users be able to test the Kizuna app on their phones? I guess when we're able to test on desktop and then their phones, how near in the future?
So when it comes to Holo, I guess I would say Holo hosted applications, they are primarily targeting browsers, right? So even with our testing, it will primarily be tested first with browsers. However, the mobile application that we are building right now works with the mobile browser. Like it's actually not a native application. So we still have to be able to kind of somehow make the Holo Web SDK. So Holo Web SDK is the basically it's the thing that glues Holochain application to Holo, right? For us developers. So this Holo Web SDK needs to be compatible with mobile phones, which we have talked with some of the uh, Holo team members as well in having that possible in the future. Although when you ask near future, I'm not sure. And I mean, like, near is, yeah, it's a relative term, so it's difficult to answer that. But I guess in the order of things, we still have to again fix the bug, and then have the Kizuna run in the browser in a test network, in a sense, in the Holo. And then that's when, after, maybe we could see, okay, it's running in the browser. How can we run this in the mobile phones? And I mean, it's gonna run in the mobile phones and the browser, right? Like Elemental Chat right now is running in the browser on the phone. But as an application, that's something we still need to kind of iron it out. So I hope that's an adequate answer. Yeah, it's kind of like explain the order of things instead of when we think it is possible.
Exactly. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. And I think like there's just so much innovation on the Holochain side, isn't there, as well, to come to make Holochain applications easy to run in mobile phones. And Kizuna might be the first, or may not be the first, but for everyone watching, one of the powers of Holochain, and something that Tats and Akira know really well, is that we all benefit from each other's work. And so as
Absolutely.
someone solves, just like you see that people who want to build hosted applications, as in Holochain applications that are powered by the Holo hosting ecosystem, therefore can be used like any web application. Holo building Elemental Chat and then Elemental Chess, which is community built, makes it easier for the Holo devs to work out how to make it easier to build hosted applications, which then Kizuna benefits from. And equally, like a lot of the messaging protocols that Kizuna guys here are working on might be plugged into chess or another game. So so I think part of what in this question, when someone's looking traditionally at a startup, they might be like, oh, well, here are these two guys. How are they going to grow or scale? Whereas what will be happening is the entire ecosystem will be growing and scaling around Kizuna and other applications, and we'll all be supporting and growing with each other. So, yeah, yes. Anyway, hopefully that was hopeful,
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I totally resonate with that. Like, there's this special magic, I believe, that happens when there are this kind of collaboration between projects, and Holochain really makes it easy for different modules that are being used in an application to be used in other projects as well. Like, no projects becomes a silo in a sense, because as said by David, things that we build in Kizuna, modules that we build, can be easily plugged into other projects in the future, and vice versa as well, right? So actually, yeah, we are already doing that in Kizuna. We are using some community-built modules that we didn't build, but of course is available. And so that's one proof of that for sure. And also, it's also used in Elemental Chess, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So there you go.
Exactly. Superb. All right. So here we go. Is Kizuna really peer-to-peer, or is there an agreement with the government that it is always possible for them to see our messages? Is there maybe an agreement that Kizuna give them a key because maybe the government let Kizuna stop this project to do? Yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So when we say Kizuna messaging application being a cloud-based peer-to-peer messaging, first, it's a cloud-based messaging application, right? So we are at least targeting to become a hosted application. Although in the long future, it would be amazing for people themselves to be able to choose whether, okay, would I like my data to be hosted in a Holo hosting network, or would I just want to keep it locally as a local Holochain app, right? But for now, at least we're targeting Holo. I mean, at least be hosted on Holo. So it's cloud enabled, right? But it's not just any other cloud. Like, I mean, it's Holo. It's a distributed cloud. Like, there's no single place where everyone's messages is stored. So that's one key thing. It's peer to peer in the sense that when I send a message to you, what happens is I send that message that is stored on a Holo port that is owned by an individual owner, not some large corporate entity. It's just an individual owner owning a Holo port, and that Holo port sends that message to another Holo port, right? Which stores somebody else's message, which of course you are trying to talk to. So it still is peer to peer, and it's cloud enabled. That's why you can access it from the browser, any browser. And so there's that. So to answer the question, can the government kind of like coerce us to give access to those messages? The simple and short answer is no, because we don't even have access to those holoports, right? Imagine if we are making a messaging application and we host it on a cloud server, right? We are paying for those cloud servers and we have access to those cloud servers, like any other centralized cloud server you could think of. And so it's easy for us to give access to those servers, or if it's if it's our private servers, then of course it's easy for us to give those servers access to third parties like government agencies or whatnot. But when it's hosted on Holo, your data as the user of the application is hosted separately, right? If we have 100 users, those 100 people's data again is stored on multiple Holo ports located in God knows where, like all over the world. And so if ever a government agency comes to us, like all we can say is, okay, well, we don't even know where they are stored, right? Like, okay, we have no single access to give to anyone because we don't even have it. We don't even have the single access to all the people's data in Kizuna. So that's how distributed Holo is. So there's no single key that can access everything as well. There's no backdoor to it. And so this makes it very, very, I think, hard for people to crack down on, number of data that they want to have access to, especially in a messaging application. And there's no honeypot, right? There's no single place that even a hacker would go and get everything. So there's that. And lastly, if you are running Holochain locally, then there's way more difficulty in getting access to your data because everything is locally stored. You have no other place where your messages are stored. So yeah, I hope that was clear.
Yep. It was, and yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tats. Okay, so the next one. Ooh. Here we go. But what about the privacy of the message? Is any way this information will be visible on Holochain? I think this person's got a blockchain versus Holochain orientation.
What about? I'm not sure what the this is referring to in the disinformation. Like, I'm not sure which information, but yeah.
I think what this question means is a bit like a blockchain where every transaction shows up. Is there a public space where effectively where anyone can interrogate a private message on Holochain? I think the person asking the question is expecting Holochain to operate like a blockchain.
Well, no, it's not. Okay, so first of all, in Holochain, you have a clear separation between a private ledger, again, what we call it the source chain, and the public space, which we call the distributed hash table. Anything you write to your source chain, we can choose whether it's a private data or a public data, right? If it's a public data, then of course it gets saved on the public space as well, the DHT, because you intended for it to be a public data. But when we say it's a private data, so in Kizuna, peer-to-peer messages are private. So meaning it never gets stored on the public space. Although what we call the headers is stored on the public space. This is to ensure that, well, this is to ensure data integrity in Holochain, right? We need to make sure that, there is proof somewhere else that you are not cheating on your source chain. I mean, I'm grossly oversimplifying this, but it's something like that. Um, so in a sense, we are very careful about what we choose to be a public data. So for group messages, of course, you would like it to be a public data, right? Because you would like other agents to see it. But it's not like, um, what we need to be, what we need to, I think, what would be helpful for us to understand is that each holochain application is a separate network from each other, right? They don't coincide with one another. So Kizuna only has its network, and in the future, we would love for groups inside the Kizuna application to be a separate network as well. So if we can enable that, then you're literally only sending data in the public, wherein the people who could see that data is the members of the group. And of course, you can always choose who's part of the group, right? You can always remove an app. And anyone outside, when they try to go inside the network, they will get kind of like validated, right? Okay, is this person someone who we really want to have inside the network? If not, then you would simply choose not to talk to them and not share anything to them. And so, in that sense, we can be able to have some sort of um, membrane around the group, around the network, protect the people inside it. Um, and of course, with private data, they always stay private in the source chain. So in Holo, that is stored in a Holo port. It's hosted in the Holo port, right? So there you go.
Yeah, super. And I think over the last, I think it was last month and the month before, we did both or the month before, we did both an ecosystem session and an AMA, which is a fantastic week. What are you most excited about in terms of the progress since we last had those two? Like we had the AMA and the ecosystem session. What have been the most exciting developments from your guys' perspective?
Akira, you want to take this
Sure,
one
sure,
first?
yeah. Um, for me as the community manager, what I'm mostly looking forward, as I resonate with what the community is thinking. Recently, I've noticed that the community has been really excited about testing Kizuna on their browsers, and so some people were actually saying they are ready to volunteer their holoports to testing. So that gets us excited and kind of pumped up to um, to get to that point where we're able to test Kizuna on the browsers. So yeah, and also seeing the responses from the people with regards to the short clips that we published in our YouTube channel the other week, and just the general feedback from the Twitter community. It really gives us kind of an excitement and energy to kind of keep going. And so yeah, what we're doing right now is we're preparing for that. And yeah, I think for me personally, that's what's really been exciting, and looking forward to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on the development side, I would say, so over the past month, again, we've discovered this architectural issue that we're trying to resolve, but we're really, really like excited to be able to get over that place, because then we would really be able to say that, okay, we have a working messaging application that you could actually use to be able to chat with one another and send not just messages, but also files, images, and videos. And it is as smooth as any web messaging applications that you have used before. So we're really getting close there. It's like, um, It's like sometimes like 1 to 100, 1 to 90 is really like you can go easy on that, and then the 90 to 100 is really where the effort, the real like intense focus comes in, and I think we are there right now, and we're also excited about the next thing that we're gonna be doing, which is voice call and video call. So for this one, we are planning to use technology called WebRTC. So this is a peer-to-peer I don't know, voice and video call framework that allows people to be able to call with one another on a peer-to-peer basis. So we're going to first use tools that are known to work, and then we're going to be looking into how we can integrate that with Holochain, because then we would be able to kind of leverage the already working peer-to-peer framework that is the Holochain and combine that with the WebRTC in a way to be able to facilitate this peer-to-peer connection of video and voice call. So, there's that. And then I think in the roadmap, am I still? Oh my God, I've been sharing
It's
my screen
fine.
the
It's
whole
fine.
time. I'm sorry for that. But anyway, this is the roadmap, and so there's the encryption as well that we need to work on. But we feel like we're getting close in a sense that once these are tackled, then we can have a closed alpha release that we are hoping to be able to do real soon. So yeah, there's that. I think that is what's really um, what really excites us. In the short term, though, it's really I think what Akira said as well, for us to be able to let the community members who have been waiting for so long to be able to play with Kizuna and be able to use it. And we have another way of doing this without having it hosted on Holo. So we're also looking into that simultaneously together with Holo. Um, so we're gonna update the community on this one. But if we can do that, then we may be able to have people use Kizuna much earlier than us being able to host it on a test sort of quote unquote test net in Holo. So uh, yeah, uh, there was a lot of exciting things, but I hope that's uh, clear.
Yeah, I'm personally, I can't wait for that day. Like when we have an evolution from say elemental chat into Kizuna, and Kizuna is chat app that's tested on the Holo infrastructure. I think that's going to be a very exciting day. Yeah, and even actually, there's just on the forums, with some people. I think some people are a bit like chat fatigued in a way, and they're like, oh, there's different chat applications, etc. And so what's been quite interesting is, as we're talking about elemental chess, it attracts a whole series of different people, and we have one of the devs from chess.com who's looking at two things for chess.com. One is peak demand and how they handle peak demand. And then secondly, if that works, what is a different infrastructure from the current cloud environment to be able to operate chess.com, right? So I think like what's quite interesting about it to me is both of those things are strengths of Kizuna. It's just that they can get reflected more in the development of other types of apps, not just chat app, as we get to see that the ultimate reason for Holo existing to be able to solve some of these problems, then get mirrored back into, hang on, that's a really interesting problem to be solving in chat. Well, hey, the Kizuna guys have actually been working on that for the last couple of years, and here's the app, and here's this, and here's that. So, yeah, I think it's exciting time at the moment. I think like that's for me. The enthusiasm is as much as anything for the broader ecosystem, how things are unfolding within the Holochain ecosystem and within the broader world, making the Holochain ecosystem to be increasingly relevant, and therefore what you guys are doing a crucial part of that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think what you've mentioned about the chest is really interesting. I've seen the conversation you had with the chess.com dev in the Holochain forum. Um, Again, going back to this modularity of Holochain applications, being able to kind of plug in certain features of certain applications in another application, and be able to have it offload some of the peak time that the chess dev was saying, is gonna be one real example of how different parts of the application can really work well with other set of the Holochain applications. And so we're really also excited to see that. And yeah, I think there's gonna be more and more and more synergies and collaborations between projects from like moving forward. And so we're just really excited to also be able to be a part of that, part of this ecosystem in the larger scale. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that the AMA coming to a close, guys?
I think so. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No more questions from the chat. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We're
That's
getting
all
more
for
viewers
today.
these days. It's very nice to see.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
People are starting to come together. Projects are coming together. People collaborations still going strong. Testing's coming near soon. It's a pretty exciting time. Let's just keep going. We will continue to work hard as a team to bring you Kizuna. So yeah, for everyone who's tuned in for the first time, we would love to share the developments we will have with you. And so we invite you to please subscribe to our newsletter. The link would be available in the description box of the video. So we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you. So yeah, that's it for now. We will continue to update you with our developments. So see you all soon. Till the next one.
See you. Thank you. See you. Till
Thank
next
you.
one.
All right. Just